What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hello, Ecamm fam.
All right, guys. So here's gonna be fun part. The hard challenge for me is not to look down here because at home I have everything in front of me. And the second challenge for me is gonna be streaming completely on the confidence, no in-ear monitors whatsoever, because the Rodecaster Pro 2 uses 1/4 inch and I didn't bring the adapter. Anyway, let's roll.
But
Let's
that's okay.
roll.
That's okay because today on the flow we are talking all about being on location because that's what we are, on location.
Ecamm Live on location.
On location. So if you have been wondering how the heck you go to these amazing conferences and meetups and events and still pull off your podcast, you're in the right place. We're going to walk through that today.
And we have our studio audience of one, Rich.
Woo! We have Rich physically in the building. We have a whole bunch of virtual studio audience members, and we have listeners.
If I think
later.
about it, and we go by height, Rich is about 3 Dianas, so it's all good.
We have officially 3 Dianas here in the studio audience. One incredible Rich.
All right, so guys, as you know, the Flow Podcast, this is our 3rd episode, so we are 43% to that 7 mark where you have to get them first 7 out because most podcasts end at 7. So we're getting there. Actually, this is 4.
I was going to say, I was going to correct you. I'm pretty sure we're on 4.
This is 4. I posted 3 today, so double check your podcast app. Make sure you got the latest episode, and then we're going to get in. So we're going to do the introductions and everything. We just want to remind you we will be taking questions at the end.
Absolutely.
It's very important today when I'm working on this tiny little monitor that you actually put the Q code in because I might not see it, even with these fantastic spectaculars. So we're going to get started. I'm going to do the countdown and do all of that stuff. And I'm just checking to make sure nobody in the chat says anything goofy. And then we're going to do the countdown. So, Luis, if you're paying attention, you're going to mark this. What's up, E? Where's my ice cream? All right, let's get it. Every time I see Eden, I have to talk about ice cream. All right. So we are going to do this and just checking every stuff. And I don't really need any sound effects. Look, I can do a applause that I can't hear. Okay. All right. It's just fun. This is fun.
We're testing the limits of our
podcasting
capabilities.
Yay. All right. It's also weird to be standing there holding this.
I feel like a reporter. It makes me feel so fancy and confident.
Hi, Katie Fawkes live on the scene.
I'm fulfilling dreams of being. No, I don't think I really. Maybe a weather person. That would be awesome.
All right, I'm starting these questions because I already see a question. I'm gonna save that for the end. But yeah, it sounds good. Thank you, Jared. That's what I was looking for. Somebody to answer us because we have no headphones. We're going off.
We're just riffing until Jared tells us that we're okay.
Thank you,
Great.
J-Rad. Oh, one quick news update, and this only the live audience is going to get this. The people listening are not going to get this. I am slightly bragging today. I am slightly moonwalking. I am slightly told you suckers because I have been preaching that YouTube is getting the official podcast tab for about a year now. I've been just on, and I know as it was taking a long time, people were starting to think that Doc was too much Macallan 12, right on my desk. But yesterday, it is official. YouTube has officially announced their podcast setup. So for those of y'all that are still waiting, I'm finna get my podcast ready. I'm finna. Your finna is over. It's time. Time is nigh, as they say in the old school books. The time is nigh. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Okay. Let me take a breathe. Hey, it's Anna and Fuyins is in the building. Yesterday, Mike and I, we saw Texas Anna. She was our waitress at the bar downstairs.
Darn it, I missed it. I came up to work on the flow and I missed the
Texas Anna. She was here.
Anna.
She was very helpful. Okay, make sure the recording ISO is on. Okay, Luis. I think this is Katie's computer, so it's already there.
I'm not recording though on my computer this time around. Maybe we should do that. No, I am.
It records automatically. Don't you work at Ecamm?
Wow. I'm used to being the guest. I'm just used to being the guest.
Okay, so recording ISO is here. Okay. And then Luigi is talking about press this button right there.
Look at that. All right. It's good to have an editor,
See, Papa Luigi is in the building. Hey, what are you saying, Anna? Are you teasing our handheld microphones? So, yes. Okay, let's get started. Let me take a breath. The hardest part is remembering to look over there. So, yeah. Rich, you might have to come and sit by the camera so I can look at Rich. All right, no, I'm good. All right, you ready? Let's count it out, Luis. And 5, 4. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Flow. I am Doc Rock, your community manager here at Ecamm, along with my awesome co-host,
Katie Fawkes.
Katie Fawkes is in the building. Guys, as you can tell, we are not in our respective studios in the Honolulu office, as I like to pretend it is, and in the Massachusetts office. We are in Tejas, all right? We are in Dallas, Tejas. And it's cool. We got our little backdrop here, our little portable stage. We brought our equipment. So today, we are going to be talking about taking your show on the road. Right?
Absolutely are, yeah. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the value of attending these conferences in real life. I know all of you out there have been doing a lot of virtual events. We do a lot of virtual events, but there is a benefit in being out with people, getting to network and spend time. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And how do you set things up? How do you stay calm? As Doc stays calm throughout all of it. But yeah, if you've been wondering how to kind of get out there back into the real world, this is your episode.
It's kind of funny because we just kind of had the pre-show, but then there's the pre-show, and I kind of wish that you guys could see the pre-show.
Come to the live recording if you are listening here and we're in your ears right now. Yes. Definitely come hang out with us on YouTube Tuesdays at noon Eastern. We love to have you in the studio audience, and you can ask your questions live that way. So
yes, that's to me. So the whole point of this flow thing is we're explaining to people about that video first podcasting, not necessarily because you want to have a video podcast. You can just do it, record it live like we're doing today, and interact with your studio audience. It's also a lot easier than just talking to yourself. Like, I can tell you point blank, having the co-host right here completely changes the dynamics of the show. It's totally different. But we understand a lot of people have co-hosts on whole different states or whatever. So in those situations, you can still add that extra touch by having your live studio audience. And that's something that I totally picked up from Leo in the many times of doing Twit or just watching Twit over. It has been the last 18 years. That I got that number officially because we decided that it's almost old enough to drink.
Yeah, we were last night. We had an Ecamm meetup here in Dallas, and we were chatting with the team at Captivate. So shout out to our friends at Captivate. But we were talking about the difference in mentality of recording a video, recording a podcast versus doing it live. And so if you are like us and you're, a perfectionist and you get in front of the camera, or you hit that recording button to grab audio and you find yourself just doing it over and over and over again, or being like, blah, screw that up. I need to hit the pause button, or I need to stop. That's me. So absolutely, that's me. Live doesn't seem like it would be easier. It's easier. It's way easier to have it in front of a group. It forces you to be consistent. It forces you to kind of step past your perfectionism. You can tweak it later if you really, really need to. But I really do think it saves a lot of time
100%.
And gives you a lot of confidence. So
100%.
I was selling them on it. Hopefully our friends at Captivate got it.
Here's a good example, right? So we're here at Podcast Movement 2022. And let's just say in supposition, I said, hey, we're here live at Podcast Movement 2020. Somebody in my studio audience would pick up later that I said 2020. At the end of the show, I can add another line and say, hey, we're here at Podcast Movement 2022. When I go to edit, I can pick that clean line up and put it in position. It'll be super easy.
Yep.
So the best part about a live studio audience is we have Luis and Michelle and Aubrey and some of our other people in the chat that will tell us there's a pickup line, right? And we can pick those up at the end. This is something that we do all the time when we record Twit. If you watch us record live, at the very end, we do the show title, we do the ad reads if there's any ad reads involved, and then we do any pickup lines if they had to be picked up. So not that kind of pickup lines, Luis. I know what you're thinking. But yeah, we do those at the end, and they're much easier to edit. So now if you guys are listening and we say something crazy, let us know and just put like pickup and then colon and tell you what you want us to fix, and we can fix it at the end. So this is also why doing it with an audience is helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're answering questions before we've even got to the questions.
Yeah.
That's just how helpful we are.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So I'm starting questions because I see Tati has a question for us. And so let's get to the beginning. Okay, Katie, if you could read from that far away.
What is the value in attending IRL or in real life conferences, meetups, or events?
Okay, so my answer to that question is whiskey. I mean, no. Getting to actually see your people. So had a chance to be with, Rich and James Higgs and Mike, our awesome support guy. And, so we're talking about things. And then, Bradley comes through and got to meet Antoine, the Captivate team. And then Kelly, you guys all know Kelly from doing our events with us. Kelly,
our challenge,
Bella, she does her challenges and stuff sometimes with us. And so getting to see her, Jim Fuse, Dealcaster, there's a bunch of cats. So just running into your people is part of it. And the conversations that you're able to have, which are just different from doing it, because it's more asynchronous when you're in the real space.
Well, and there is something different and something almost magical about being face to face with someone, about having conversations that have nothing to do with work or your projects or things that you're doing. You are forming and continuing a relationship with someone. And then down the road, when you need help or you want to work on a project you want to collaborate with, or you want to find a sponsor, all of those asks are so much easier when you actually know someone. We're all, even last night, we were talking a lot about, the idea of these spam emails and the hard sell LinkedIn DMs where it's like, hey, it's so nice to connect with you. And you're like, great. And then 2 seconds later, they're like, buy my thing. And, so they're like, spend the time getting to know people. in real life, over sharing food together or sharing drinks together really does go a long way in understanding what they're trying to accomplish, letting them understand what you're trying to accomplish and a bit more about you. That relationship is going to be so valuable over the years. And a lot of it happens at conferences and events like this where you're coming for similar reasons, you're finding other people in your niche, in your space. That matters a whole lot more. Hallway track, right? Matters a whole lot more than the sessions or kind of sitting and watching all of the content. It's the people.
I'm just starting some stuff over here.
Like star.
I'm starting some stuff over here because I have things to address. Y'all keep getting yourselves in trouble in the chat over here. Right? So, and I think another part of it is one thing that's hard to describe that I get, and I was talking to Luis about this. I know Anna and Fujin's something that we talked about when we were having dinner at POV last year. You leave the event with this energy, to coin Fifth Element, that's something, that fire, that energy, it pop, So you have it, you come back and you're just ready to do things. You're more apt to try something challenging when you come back with the energy that you pick up from a show. There you go. Hey, I'm laughing right now. Guys, housekeeping decided to vacuum in the hallway right now. I'm just curious if you guys can hear that. I want to know how good these work, because housekeeping is vacuuming right outside the door.
Well, we hit Dallas along with a storm. We took Dallas by storm, and there was a crazy storm outside, and there was very serious flooding, and so our hallway's a little wet, a little damp. So I think they're trying to solve that problem.
Oh my goodness. Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
All right, there you go. I'm just starting questions over here. All right, guys. So let's talk about the second point in this show today.
How do you podcast when you're not in your studio, when you're not in your safe space, Doc? How do you get it together?
Like this. It is a very simplistic answer, but it's because it is a simplistic answer. You should absolutely do some shows on the road, because here's what's happening. When you do some shows on the road, to the person at home listening, even if they're not seeing the video, there is a sense of adventure. People are hanging on, waiting to see, will it explode? Will it mess up? Will a naked guy run past, saying, called Casino Royale or whatever? Like, there is a certain interest in adventure when you are not in your place, right? When you're doing a live remote. So I think that's part of it. You're helping your viewers / listeners, let's just say your audience, you're helping your audience go through a sense of adventure with you. You're taking them on a journey with you.
Yeah.
So, couple of things. You can simply use your iPhone, pick up something like a lavalier that connects to your microphone on your iPhone rather. The iPhone mics itself are pretty good with a little polishing with like Auphonic or the Super Sound and Descript, Studio Sound and Descript. You can clean up iPhone audio pretty well. I thought one thing Luis did last year, which was incredible, we were all out throwing axes, whatever. I come back to the room, and Luis is in the bathroom, whole setup in the bathroom, because bathrooms have amazing acoustics.
Yep.
Really amazing acoustics. So Luis had his laptop in the sink. He had his the Zoom H4n, the microphone, kind of like set there with the foam cover, towels laid down so to kill the vibrations, sitting on the toilet sideways, not like that, people. And, close the door and like, hey, I'll be in here podcasting. Aiden's okay, but if, he needs anything, let me know. I'm like, cool. Aiden was just in the crib like, what's up, unks? And then Luis did his entire show from the bathroom. Bathrooms have great acoustics. If you rented a car and all you have is your iPhone, the car, inside the car has great acoustics unless you rent like the Fit. But if you rent like a Camry or in like a mid-sized Compact or something, or these smaller SUVs more than others because they rattle. So SUVs have better sounding. So if you rent a car, you can record a podcast. If you watch YouTube from the old school days, a lot of the a cappella groups would record their songs in the car because it was like a portable recording studio.
Yeah, no, it's worth the challenge. And like you were saying, I think too, if you're doing it from an event, you also have the opportunity to be able to take advantage of all of the hashtags and the momentum and the fun around the event. And you might even be able to do things like bring on guests that you wouldn't normally have in a different, in a different environment, or take it into a space where maybe it's not the exact same quality that you would have if you were back home in your studio, but it gives, just like you said, the sense of adventure and excitement. And it's, I just think it provides a lot of opportunity that you wouldn't normally get if you were at home in your space.
I'm sorry. I was laughing at a comment from the studio audience about the hoopty. Yeah, in most cars, though, you will hear the acoustics is really good. You can just try it for yourself without even going on a vacation. You can go in your garage or go out into your street and then close the doors, and say, now, it's kind of hot out right now. You don't do it for too long. You'll bake in there. But it does have amazing acoustics. So because we were coming here and we are having a booth and we knew we wanted to record some shows, Nikki wanted to record some shows. So I did bring the Rodecaster Pro 2. It is extremely portable. It's not that big. It's not that heavy.
It has a fancy case on top.
That was from Pastor Felicia. Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you, Felicia.
She got me the protective cover because she knows Doc is dangerous. And then we were able to we're recording with Shure Beta 58s today, and these are amazing microphones. The primary difference between a standard SM58 and a Beta 58, the Beta 58 is slightly better on the higher end acoustics, like if you're doing vocals or if you're doing this talking as we're doing, it has a more rounded vocal curve. And these were a better choice because you have to mix me with my with Katie, and it will even out better.
Katie's high-pitched laughing.
Yeah. There you go. So the Beta 58s were a perfect option, and they themselves are tiny. I'm going to try not to make too much noise here. Wait, is that me?
Yes.
I think I did it. Oh, no, it doesn't work like that. Hold on. 1 second. I just remembered I can't do that. See, here we go. We're making trouble. I'm going to mute Katie's one for a second. Let me see. So they're that big. They're not that huge. Same as a standard SM58. There you go. I didn't want to make it come out because it would be so loud in people's ears. Beta, a small, and the Shure microphones themselves, I mean, you can get them for like $100 to $150. You can buy used ones for $20, $30. And my Shure SM58 comes from 1982.
Yeah, they last.
And it's still rocking.
They last. And we're good friends with the team at Shure, so huge thanks to them for making great recommendations. But they suggested for this particular event that we actually go wired instead of wireless. So we have been using wireless microphones, but we don't really need to when we're in it. Sometimes you talk yourself into this idea of like, we need to have the top equipment and we need to have wired. You don't need to have wireless microphones if you're
in an event
in
like
a
this
booth.
Is not a good idea. Well, first of all, let's understand. You just brought up something extremely valuable. Know your location. Okay, so we are in Dallas at Podcast Movement, and every podcaster on the planet is in this building right now recording a podcast. When we go on the show floor, we're going to be on the show floor with a whole bunch of people also with wireless. So you run the risk of wireless interference. We are also a stone's throw from a couple of airports, and Dallas has a lot of hubs for recording places. There's a building like 2 blocks over that's one of the BET headquarters. So the radio interference capabilities around here would be really big. So this was a brilliant pick to go with the wired mice and mice.
And I totally was that person where I'm like, well, but we really want the wireless ones because we've always had the wireless ones. And Laura was like, all of everything that Doc just said. And I'm like, yeah. And I really I only wanted wireless because that's what we had and I thought it looked cool, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, don't overthink it. Just take a step back and think through what it is that what's your rationale behind why you want something a certain way? Does it make sense for what you're actually accomplishing?
What is your why? The last thing that I brought as a backup, and so far it's working, I don't want to move it right now, but this is a AT&T Wireless Nighthawk 5G. So I'm connecting to this because it allows me to use this red cable, which is the Ethernet cable, to pipe into Katie's computer.
Yep.
But this is also 5G compatible. down here in Dallas, right, this is an AT&T place, there is 5G evolution, so we get pretty decent speeds. If you don't want to buy one of these because they're kind of hard to get right now and a little expensive, you can rent it. I rent this from one of our Ecamm members, actually, a guy, Jim Tech in Honolulu. He rents this to us, and so this is perfect for the road, and I'm not going to be at home for over a month, so this was great to just have this as a backup. And the hotel Wi-Fi is pretty good, but it could be better. So with this, I can stick it together, and using one of our partners like Speedify, you can actually stuck those two connections together and make it even sweeter.
Yeah, definitely. Internet, as always, is the one big pain point that you're going to have if you're outside of your own space.
And worst case scenario, if your internet thing doesn't work, then just record it like normally, but then take your phone and have maybe IG Live and bring your audience there, because it is nice to see your audience, and I can see, the energy that we're getting from the people going off in the room over here, which is fantastic, right? There you go.
I love it. All right,
cool. Let's get down to point number 3.
What is in your video podcast travel kit?
Whiskey.
We're on theme here this trip. We're really on theme.
I think the most important thing is a microphone and a backup microphone. And if you have space, I'm not going to tell you to go crazy, have a backup to the backup to the backup. Okay? So, for instance, we have these Beta 58s that we're using today. I also brought the Rode Wireless Go. If we were in a situation, I can take those, plug them into the secondary USB of this Rodecaster Pro, or directly into Katie's computer, and the transmitter acts as a recorder itself because it records into each individual transmitter, and the receiver acts as an audio interface. So if I have that plugged into the computer, it will just act as an audio interface, but we'll have backup recordings on the road. As a matter of fact, just in case, because we're in a weird situation, it would have been smart to put the Rodes on, even though we're not using them, just because the audio would be recording into the thing. So we'll remember that. And then I also brought my microphone that plugs into my iPhone just in case. And I bought the Rode Video Mic NTG, which is the long, skinny shotgun that's technically made for a camera, because that microphone also is USB-C compatible, so it can just plug to the side of the computer and be another microphone. So I actually brought 4 microphones because I have the tiny little Ceramonic that's made for the camera if I had to go take it to the bathroom. And the Ceramonic that's made for the camera, it looks just like a small little ball with a headphone jack, and you just plug it in the side of the camera. In which case, I would just take it in the bathroom and do it in there. So just have a couple backups for your mic, because you just never know.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the key element to that.
And think through think through what you're trying to do. We're here as a brand with a booth at a show, so it matters a lot more to us to have, backups on backups on backups, and, everything, and knowing where the local, Lowe's and Home Depot and Best Buy and all of those stores are. It may matter less to you if you're coming out to do networking and you're doing your podcast, and if everything goes wrong, it's okay. No big deal. No one minds. Consider what your level of your level of investment needs to be.
No one's expecting your road show to sound like your studio
Exactly.
show. It just never does.
Exactly.
And pro tip: if you're ever in downtown Dallas, they don't have those things in downtown Dallas because Texas is spread out, so they don't put them down here. You just go to there. Yeah. So you got to check your map before I leave my house. I always pull up, where's the CVS? So I'm like, oh, there's a CVS down here. But then when I did the, put your body on the street Google Map style, it's a tiny little CVS. Like, it's really small. Like, there's nothing in there. So you have to do those research before you go. Like, if you needed a batteries or cable or tape or something, you got to make sure that, So we pre-shipped a bunch of the stuff that we might need from Amazon, and it's just cool to just have it here. So just in case. So thank you, Rich, for taking
Huge
those
thank
on.
you, Rich.
Right. So we're able to bring backup XLR cables, bring backup HDMI cables and things like that. And that's a good way to do it too. What else would be important to have? I think the main one is your mic setup. And I bring a portable hard drive. I have like a couple of SSDs in the bag right there.
Yeah.
That just because you don't know, you might run out of space on your computer, you want to dump some stuff, but also once I record it, I want to make a backup to that hard drive right away. just in case something happens. I was listening to people using a lot of profanity to the baggage people at American because they were having baggage problems. So my suggestion is once you record it, put that recording in the cloud ASAP, just in case, American or Delta or somebody loses your bag.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it depends whether or not you're doing a video podcast like what we're doing and that it has, live streaming and video capabilities. If that's the case, obviously you're also going to need whatever camera you want to have, stands and things for your camera, for your lights. We're literally looking into the sun at you right now. Doc brought like all the light with him from Hawaii.
It's a Nanlite 150. I think the only person who will understand that is Jarrett in the chat. But it's a big Nanlite. But it's nice because it's actually light. It's big as far as light output, but it's light as far as weight. I just realized I mixed the two spellings in a single sentence. Not a good look. It's a light.
It's a light. But again, you may not need that, but just think through, last week we talked all about the podcasting checklist. You should have a podcasting travel checklist.
Yes.
If you're going to do this more than once or even just the once, you're going to want to have a checklist that says, these are the things that are must-haves. These are nice-to-haves if I have space or room. These are the things that I should just have like as many little backups that are in my bag all the time. All of these things are important to have on a checklist. You're going to forget. Having a checklist to reference is important.
I have that list that I made. It's in my Apple Notes. And I just realized that I have my phone right now because I was going to read to you what's on the list. But it was basically, I wrote down what I was going to need as far as cameras and mics and cables and everything. I just went down the list. It also helps. Now, this is something I didn't do because I've done this a couple million times. But now I realize it in the cockiness of it, I still should have done it because I used to do this all the time. I lay it out on the floor as if it's connected without really plugging everything in.
Oh, that's smart.
Right? So, like, I would put the Rodecaster on the floor, XLR, USB cable, power cable, cover, right? Then I'll put the two microphones, branding box, it's called the flag, branding box, and the foam windscreen. Put those together, right? And then over here, I put the computer, the power cable, the wireless, the USB, the cam link, the Ethernet cable, whiskey. Right. Just check. See you guys following along.
Today's episode has been brought to you by the letter W for whiskey.
One.
Exactly.
So then you would take your tripod, you lay it down, you put your camera, your batteries, your mics, and everything. So if you remember back in the day, when Instagram first came out, there was this thing of knolling. Knolling is where people would lay out their whole kit and take the vertical shot perfectly placed. Part of that is showing off, but a large part of that is we always did that before shoots. We would basically know all the gear. Just like if you're going to build a bike, you know all the parts. If you're taking apart stuff on the car, you put down your parts mat and you lay everything out. So even at Apple, when we take apart, I don't know if I should say this, when we take apart computers at the Genius Room, we had a mat and we would put everything in very particular spots. So you knew to put everything back and you wouldn't close the box without noticing there was a piece missing.
Exactly.
It's like, hey guys, my CD drive did not come back. It's like, oops, it's in the Genius Room. So this way you lay everything out, you can have a visual inspection. And if you're really gung-ho or nervous, plug everything in and do a spot check at your home location and then go to your new location and everything should be gravy. But for your XLR cables, bring extras. Always have extras. You never know, right? But see, just got to have extras at the ready, just in case.
Docs are even color-coded. We're orange and blue today. Yeah. So, I have fun with it. Try not to overthink it, but have a checklist, have a plan.
Why you say that? Why you look at me, Katie?
No. I am definitely right up there with you for overthinking it and for over checklisting it and for overdoing it.
Yeah,
but
it's just trying to make sure that you have everything. Because again, depending on your location, like when we were in San Diego, everything that I needed, if you forgot something, was super close by. But like in Dallas, it's further spread out. So you got to know where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. But I will, I suppose, wrap up this question and the end before we head over to live Q&A with the idea that you can do it. So, if you're sitting here and you've been listening and you want to start a podcast, now is the time to start a podcast.
Yes,
And
100%.
there are so many amazing events. You know, podcast movement has been awesome so far. We're excited for to dive into all of the real networking and event starting tomorrow. But there's, they have local meetups. There's tons of, podcasting groups and organizations across the country, across Canada and the UK and all over the world.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of other amazing podcast events as well. We did Podfest and VidFest last year. We sponsored that event virtually. There's just a lot of opportunity for you to get out of your space, get to know other podcasters.
And leap into podcasting.
Yes, and we're doing a virtual event. Good reminder, Doc. But yeah, I mean, the opportunities are huge. So, whether or not you're sitting on the fence and you're not quite there, get out and spend time with other people. It's going to help you feel more confident. It's going to let you see what they're doing when they're out in the world, in the spaces, and, network with them, get to know them better.
It's so true. Just going around and walking people, like hearing people's conversation and things like that, you get little reminders. So that's the other part. You might not even be actively in the conversation, but you can hear something and go, oh, that's a reminder. I need to do so-and-so. And you will meet people. You can probably book guests for like the next year and a half while you're here.
Yeah.
So that's another cool reason to be at these kind of things. And yes, make sure you RSVP for Leap into Podcasting. It's going to be fantastic.
Leapintopodcasting.com.
So good. So good. I can't wait for that. That's going to be cool. All right, so guys, this has been the flow on the road, and it's been a lot of fun. I hope we were able to give you some tips that you can use if you want to take your show on the road. And at this point in time, we will be diving into our live studio audience to answer questions. If you would like to partake, make sure you come see us Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. It's a time switch for me, 12 p.m. Eastern to join us in the live studio audience over on the Ecamm page on YouTube, which is Ecamm Live on YouTube. Anything else, Katie?
I think that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We've been live on location here in Dallas.
All right, so normally when I'm at home, I'm like, okay, guys, that's in the recording and aloha, but we're in Texas, so I'm going to say, y'all come back now here. That was so bad. All right, let's dive
Are
into some
there
Q&A.
any studio audience members left with us now, Doc? Or have they all just disappeared right out of here?
See, hey, we got to get
Oh,
this
we
flow on
have
the road.
Brian.
What's up, Brian? Get
Hey,
this
Brian.
flow on the road. Okay, so I got some questions. Let me go back in here. Eric, the house guy, says, using the beta version, do I need Zoom ISO to bring people in? Nah, man.
No.
Nah, we got interview mode. They
Yeah.
can just call us and it's on like Donkey Kong. We have that automatically built in.
Yeah, definitely. Check it out. I love, we've been getting this question nonstop. So if you were on our Instagram stories earlier, these are stickers that Doc was kind enough to bring out to us. These are plain black mic flags. If you search mic flags on Amazon, you will find tons and tons of options. And same thing, these foam, what are they called?
Windscreen.
Foam windscreens also
them
come
afros.
in tons and tons of different colors. So this branded microphone in total, I think cost us, not counting the microphone, like $20.
Yeah.
It's
So-
not expensive to be able to add your flair, and it looks fun.
Here's the cool thing about this. The plastic covers are, I think they're like $10, right? And the stickers, now my friend next door is a professional sticker place. However, we have someone in our community, Glenda, she has a Cricut. You probably know somebody with a Cricut. You can cut your logo on a Cricut. If you don't, there's people on Etsy that will do it for you for super cheap.
Yeah.
So you just send them your file, they'll cut it. You don't have to buy 50, 11, 100,000 of them. I literally made 12 pieces, right? And the color one was printed on a gigantic roller digital printer. But again, there's products out there that you can print onto the vinyl with your HP or your Epson, and then a Cricut can cut it. So you can go on Etsy or even things like Kinko's and some of these places, they can print small batch for you. So it's actually good for you if you had your podcast to go onto something like Sticker Mule or a sticker app and get yourself a bunch of stickers anyway. So there's the thing. It's just good for promotion. So yeah, super simple to do, and it wasn't too expensive. Let's get it on here some more. And Tati says, your approach to finding co-hosts, moderators, etc. I'm thinking of network relationship building and direct ask in
I love
communities like
this.
Ecamm and other. Okay,
Yeah.
so moderators is simple. I just call Paul Duncan. No, Paul has a lot of stuff on his channel where he will explain you what to look for in a moderator, how to make sure they're a good fit, how to train your moderators, and things like that. So I would defer you to probably one of the best moderation experts in the planet, and you should have a moderator ASAP. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't think my thing is big enough. No, you want a moderator as soon as possible.
If you're on, you're big enough.
If you're on, you're big enough. So you definitely get a moderator and things like that. Co-host is simple. Send out, if you put the tag in your show, hey, we're looking for hosts for the show, blah, 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 contact me at, TatianaTeaches.com or whatever. So you can put those in your show. And come to networking events like such. That's the easiest way. Go to networking events.
Yeah.
I get DMs or questions all the time for people requesting me to be on their shows. I will tend to go and check their shows and vet them. So one of the things you can do is build a perspective PDF. Like, this is my show. This is how many episodes. This is how many people are watching. Use your analytics. Build yourself a little media kit and send that as opposed to, hey, man, you want to be on my podcast? Like, that's old school. Nowadays, treat your podcast as if it's an NPR podcast. I said that like in the last episode. So yeah, put your pack together, and then you'll have a better job of finding people to come on your show.
Yeah, and I think I want to say it was Pat Flynn who gave a really great suggestion for you were asking about communities like Ecamm. You find the moderators and group owners for groups that are in the niche that your podcast is about.
Yes, you did say
those people are folks who maybe they don't get as many asks to be on, to be on a podcast or a live show because they're down in the weeds. They're dealing with, with people every single day, but they're passionate and they have a ton of expertise. So it's a great way to make someone feel really special. And many of those people have a huge community. They have a bunch of friends that they want to be able to bring with them.
To break this out exactly, here's what you do today. You craft an email and you send it to Paul Duncan, Anna and Fulgens, Mr. Camera Junkie, Pastor Felicia, Alec Johnson, Chris Wood, the Ecamm moderators. All of them have fantastic communities. All of them are absolutely brilliant, which is why they're picked. And you can see the moderators. It has a little thing right next to their name. I'm sure if you email Paul or Camera Junkie or Honor Fortunes, whatever, and ask them to come on your show, they'll all be greatly obliged. And it's helpful for them too, because they're also at the level of where they're putting their brand out there and hoping to be discovered. So
yeah, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
It's a great question.
And I remember Pat saying that. It's a fantastic bonus answer. Nice. All right, cool.
Oh, I love this one. Can I take this one?
Yes. That's where I started, and then I was saying things to myself, and Katie, take it because I might say bad words.
So Be More Super, the podcast, is scared to go live. I was 100% scared to go live. I think I've said this in literally every show that I've done. I vividly remember when I first joined the Ecamm team, Ken and Glenn, who were way too nice to me, were like, it's okay. Like we can host the interviews and you can just be behind the scenes. And I took them up on that every single time until I finally just said, this is ridiculous. I need to figure out how to do this. So I will say my tips for overcoming it are bring a couple of friends with you to the broadcast. So if you have safe, friendly people that are there in the chat that as you're doing your thing, you can see their encouraging comments come up that say like, you sound great. Everything looks awesome. Here's my question. It goes a really long way in building that confidence. So, after a few times of doing that with people that are there picking you up and making you feel great, and you start seeing the value in it, you're going to just continue to build that confidence. So I was there. I think a lot of people have been there as they get started. There's tons of ways to get out of your own mind and practice as much as possible. Doc always suggests, shooting a video a day on your phone and just delete them until you shoot a video a day on your phone, and then you decide you want to upload them or share them with other people or watch them back. It just takes practice.
You can just shoot them and never publish them, but it gets you in the habit of putting them out there. But I have to ask the question. I said I wasn't going to be mean, but I have to ask the question, and I'll ask this question every time. Scared of what?
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
That camera cannot hit you. Now listen closely. I'm about to throw a short joke at Diana Gladney, who just showed up. That's more dangerous than talking to this camera. She hits, all right? The camera has never slapped a person. I almost said words I'm not supposed to say. A camera has never slapped you, can't do nothing to you. There is zero reason to be scared of a camera. That is something that somebody else told you a long time ago, and you decided to buy it and adopt it. And you know this because you go to any child under the age of 5, and you point a camera at them, and they're like, yo, superhero. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, watch this. And nothing. Somewhere about 5th, 6th grade, somebody made fun of your reading out loud. Somebody made fun of your hair, your crooked teeth, whatever. And now you became camera shy. So that's literally so one of the best songs ever generated was called Crooked Smile. And the guy was like, I'm going to make fun of my own teeth. And it's a glorious song. Because to show you that you are the you that you got, so own it, right? Like I should be said turn sideways, but I'm not. 'Cause I don't care. Like it's not that big a deal. It's no one's gonna come after you. So yeah. Just it's so cliche to say just get over it, but this is definitely one of those just get over it because it's only harming you. It's not helping you. Owning a belief that's not real is not helping you in any way, shape, or form. So let it go, Elsa. RB said. This wasn't a question, but Arby said, and I liked it. She said, Ecamm totally saved my bacon.
Yay.
I was such a perfectionist, and I wouldn't finish recording, editing, just going live. And now it's just, once it's done, right? So, yes, I perfectly love that. Okay.
We did that one.
I covered that one. How come it didn't go away? That was me. How do you bring in the comments in the Ecamm? Like this. I just click on the button. So let me show you again. We don't need any kind of weird extra stuff. We're Ecamm.
Yeah, the only exception, Eric, would be that if you are using Ecamm into Zoom and you want to see Zoom comments, or you're using Ecamm and doing like a stream key out to, I don't know, a non YouTube, Facebook typical platform, then you won't get the comments that will come in. So you might need to do something like a screen share overlay
it's called
or a
Studio
widget.
Ninja. Studio Ninja solves that. But here's the thing. Stop using Zoom. I'm done. I said it. We're not allowed to say that, but I said it. Zoom is horrible. Just get rid of it. And then you can use anything else. You could do the exact same thing in Discord, and you're not going to bring in the comments because you're not live streaming it to them somewhere, but you can have like the same type of meeting. If you want to live stream and you want comments, do it on platforms that have comments. Yeah. Like what you're you're adding things. Okay, let me fix what I'm trying to say in English. So adding something like Studio Ninja or adding something like the Zoom OSC or whatever to your podcast is adding another moving part that can possibly break when all you have to do is do it live on YouTube, where you don't need anything. It just works. To do it live on Facebook, where you don't need anything. It doesn't just work, but
it sometimes works.
Or do it on LinkedIn, it kind of sort of works. Or do it on Twitch. It does just work, right? So it's like trying to drive a Yugo in the Serengeti. You're not getting very far. You need a Range Rover for that, or a Land Rover for that, or a Land Cruiser. You need an overlander vehicle to drive in the desert. You don't drive your standard highway car in the desert. It's not a smart move, right? So don't add things to your show for no reason. Go back to what Katie said 20 minutes ago. Ask yourself why. And I can almost guarantee you the majority of the people that are using Zoom, their why is not fully thought out. They just did Zoom because they thought that was the tool they had to use. And I'm almost willing to challenge most people on that and help you think of a better solution. There. Let me check the comments. Now Diana Gladney is here.
Hi, Diana.
Let's see. Yes, moderators are so underrated. Except for Paul. He's kind of overrated. Sorry, Paul. I'm joking.
I got him, Paul. Come in.
So, yes, definitely check out Paul's channel. He's been doing a lot with helping people get their stuff together with that. It's really helpful. Yes, Luis, remember to hit them buttons of like. And then he did it first live outside of the medical center. That's funny. That's funny.
Right? Yes. It's just a different experience, right? Talking to a person versus talking to a camera. Like Doc said, everything is in your head. You just got to force yourself. Find your safe people that can make you feel okay and laugh your way through for a couple bad ones, and you'll be fine.
Todd said, I feel culturally appropriated because I said Y'all come back now here. I love you, Todd. That is super funny. Yes, let's see. I'm just checking out. Done a lot of lives since then and haven't died yet.
Good.
You know, Diana recorded a video in her car once in a day, back in the day, talking to you folks about the acoustics of a car. One of her, not first YouTube videos, but one of the YouTube videos that sparked the career she has now, she actually recorded in a car, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good video. I'm just checking. So I interview film and TV stars that time, so my nerves get better.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes even if you are interviewing someone, if you can spend 15 minutes before you hit that go live button to just talk with them, like off air conversation, usually that's enough to help you calm down and feel comfortable with them when you actually go live.
I'm laughing at Rich because he actually wrote demo mode, yo. When he's sitting right there, he could have been like, hey, turn off the demo mode. It's so much easier, Rich. It's okay. It's good. It's good. Rich is.
The music. Where's your question? Uh-oh. Do we lose one? Do search for LEUM. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, so this happened before. If you have a different YouTube account, I would put it in there. Or maybe you're using one of the 2100 blocked words. So DM the question to Paul, and Paul will send it back to me. Remember, like we have our block word list set up to take things out, and yeah, you know.
That's Elaine says she's got a picture of her dog on the lens. Yeah, right. That's another great example of what you can do.
In the beginning, no kidding, I used to really put a picture of Jessica Alba or Lucy Liu underneath the lens so I could be talking to somebody. Because it is weird. But now I'm used to it, so no biggie. So yes, that is true. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Paul to get the question.
I know, and then we're off for lunch, everyone. We got a booth to build.
I'm finished.
We hope that you follow on our on the Ecamm Instagram account, probably in the community as well. We'll be posting photos and videos throughout this event, but we're super excited. We have Nikki and Moose who are coming in. They'll be here with us tomorrow and Thursday, and then Jeff C and Grace are taking social media news live into our booth all day Friday. So all of those streams are actually sitting here on this YouTube channel. So if you want to follow along, ask questions, find out what's going on at Podcast Movement, we're bringing you all with us, and we're not charging you for the tickets. So hang out, click those RSVP links and make sure that you have that in your calendar.
And now that I think about it, if you have questions for the flow, you can email them to us.
Yeah.
Right? You can always email them to us, flow at email.com. I'm done.
Don't do that. Flow at ecamm.com.
Why?
Doc's hunger pains are just taking over. He's just like, I gotta.
Okay. What the heck is email? Actually, I think there
It probably is an email.com.
Don't type it because who knows what you're going to get.
Yeah, you might get some scary.
Yes, flow at ecamm.com. You can always send us your question, and then we can remember to do it. And
I was going to say, I'm going to say to the live studio audience, because I haven't even told this to Doc yet, but I am on vacation next week. So I am not here for the flow next week. So if there's anyone here in the studio audience that wants to be a co-host or wants to have a specific conversation, let's give Doc some love. So if there's some people, maybe Paul wants to come on and talk about moderation.
Flow, not flow. It's the flow host.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
flow.
because it's FLOW.
It's the flow host. Oh my goodness.
It's
the flow host challenge.
We need a flow host.
We need a flow host for next week. So yeah, if you're sitting here and you're like, hey, I have something to share, or you want to practice some hosting interviewing skills.
Yes, Johnny, I am. There he is.
Top chat and live chat.
I have no idea what top chat is. We would
still see all the questions though, so.
Yeah, I have zero understanding what top chat is. What is that?
I think it's just how the chat is organized. It's a setting on YouTube, but it wouldn't affect.
Oh.
We can't. Paul says we can't eat until you hit that like button. Please hit the like button so that we can go grab lunch. Oh, if your question is about the live chat versus top chat, that's just a YouTube feature, not an Ecamm feature.
I've never heard of top chat, and I've been on YouTube forever. It's probably what it says, but I've never read it that way.
Yeah, I don't actually know what the differentiation is between. I assume that it's like one shows the entire feed of chat questions and comments, and the other is just showing the top, whatever they differentiate to be the top comments. But we would still see all the questions come into Ecamm regardless of whether they were top or.
I think that's what it is. When you sort your chat on YouTube, it might do that.
Yeah.
I don't sort. I do all comments.
Doc's going to open it and it's going to cause sound feedback.
No. Oh, yeah, I better not do that. Never mind. Yeah, I quit.
Well, from us hungry folks here in Dallas to all of you amazing studio audience people, if you have additional questions, catch us on the next couple of episodes we're doing 2 pop-up Flow episodes hosted by Nikki and Moose over the next couple of days, and then Social Media News Live will be on YouTube on Friday. So if you have additional podcasting questions, that's a great space to ask them. Come be our live studio audience for those. And if you have any questions after this, or you're watching on replay, or you're listening on replay, I guess.
Yes.
You can.
Diana cleared it up. You're right. So that's what it is. That's the thing. To the top chat is it moved. Top chat is the selected comments versus the full live feed.
Yeah.
There you go. Like nobody uses that. Just use the full comments.
Alrighty.
Thank you. That's it. Let's eat. And
thanks everyone.
I'm laughing at everyone. Hey, Felicia, where'd he go? Oh, Katie put it down here. Look, see, I packed it.
I got a picture of it. It looks awesome.
And I did test out something, guys. I ran the Rodecaster Pro off of the USB battery, and it worked. You just have to make sure that it's a minimum of 15 watts. That's the most thing. Anyway, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Oh, there you go. Anna Fortune says top chat filters potential spam.
Yeah, we're learning all sorts of stuff today.
There you go. I don't have those problems. It's really weird. It's cool. Thank you, guys.
Bye,
everyone. Bye. And man, it's nice to have the Stream Deck over here.